So today I kind of wanted to do an overview of the Tops Knives Brothers of Bushcraft knife. Now this is a design in conjunction with Brothers of Bushcraft, and I think with Tops really good manufacturing techniques, they came out with a pretty solid knife. So starting with the sheath, it's a Kydex sheath, so it's a little bit different from the usual Tops Knives ballistic nylon sheath with a Kydex insert. And that may be good, that may be bad, I don't know, kind of depends on the person. But they did a really good job on it, I think. From the factory, they have kind of this little holster for a fire rod, and this is their fire rod that they designed. It has 2 magnesium rods and 1 ferrocerium rod, so pretty much what you have is your tinder in an emergency, and they also have your actual fire starting sparks. And as all their knives do, it comes with a survival whistle. So on the back of the sheath, you have the retention system, which is basically a spring steel clip. And the thing I like about this clip is that it's really good at retaining it on your belt. So instead of having kind of like that weird bend that keeps the knife from bending out, you actually have a nice full bent piece of metal right there. So if you don't want the knife to come off your belt, it's not gonna, all right? The cool thing about this as well is that with this O-ring that they kind of put in there, and they fastened it really well, it takes quite a bit of force to turn the clip, but that's probably a good thing so that your knife isn't changing position on you. And you can turn it to pretty much 360, so if you want to carry it at an angle, depending on what else you have on your belt, you know, ergonomics of your own body, you can change that. And you can even carry it all the way in the scout position, so you know, across the bottom of your back. Pretty cool. And yeah, so I think they did a pretty good job on the sheath. It also has 2 little holes here, so you can put a lanyard or whatever you want through there. So going to the blade, the knife overall is 10 inches, and the blade thickness, or the blade length, sorry, is 4.5 inches. The blade thickness is 3/16 of an inch, which I think for knives in general is probably like the perfect spot between strength and sliceability. And the steel is 1095. They differentially temper this blade to RC 56 to 58. And the handle is black canvas micarta. And one thing that Joe Flowers did was integrate the design of the Shango notch. So I'll show that in a later video, but just know that it's there. Cool things that they put on this handle is they have a nice little palm swell on here, so it's a little more ergonomic. And they also, on both sides, put thumb recesses. So if you're holding it like this, you have a nice place to put your thumb. So it's not going to put any hot spots on that part of your thumb. So if you're going to be doing a lot of slicing, a lot of carving, you have a nice place to kind of index your thumb. Also on it, as you can tell, they have 2 fire spindle sockets on either side, so left-handed, right-handed, you're going to be taken care of. And since the Shango notch is right here, you couldn't put a lanyard hole in there, so they went ahead and put a lanyard hole right in the handle using a hollow brass rivet. So they have a really good retention system there as well. On the spine of the blade, you have really nice jimping, nice radius, kind of similar to what they have on the Wilderness Guide 4.0, which is probably one of my favorite knives for sure. And let's go on to the actual blade. From far away, this looks like a traditional Scandi grind, but because Scandi grinds are often pretty hard to take care of in the field, they decided to go with the modified Scandi grind. So it's a Scandi grind with a very micro bevel right there. And the reason for that is just field maintenance. So if you have something like a smaller field sharpener, instead of like a nice big Japanese whetstone, it's going to be easy to touch at the blade. Say if you're out for, you know, a week and you can't have all this gear with you, that's a pretty good option. So yeah, I really like the knife a lot, and from the factory it comes pretty darn sharp. And one thing that I also like that they did about this blade is they decided not to put any traction coating on the actual cutting edge. And the reason that they didn't do that, I think, is to cut down on friction. So if you're doing a lot of woodworking, it's going to be a lot less, you know, bind and grab. But from the factory, it comes pretty sharp, and surprisingly so. Yeah. So yeah, overall I think this knife is pretty cool. I can't wait to test it out and kind of give you my field impressions on it. But you know, it's a really solid knife. I like everything they did from it. The fit and finish is really good, from, you know, the liners to the rivets, or the screws actually, all the way to the micro wedge. And it's very even, very uniform, and it feels like a really solid knife. So hope you guys look forward to my field review, and I'll catch you later. Take care out there. Bye.